So today I'm going to do a leg workout and warm up by doing squats with no weight at all. There's a million ways to do them. You could balance by putting your hands on your hips. You could have your hands straight up. You could have your toes facing outward, forward, inwards. I'll do a bunch of different examples in this warm-up set. Let's see what Susie's doing here. This is a leg press, which is an alternative for squats. It's good if you're still working on your coordination and if you're a beginner at weightlifting. So she has her toes facing forward, has them on the bottom, which is one option, that hits the thighs rather evenly. If she had her toes facing outward, it would work the inner thighs. If she had her toes facing inward, it would work the outer thighs. She could also, if she wanted to, would have her feet more up top, which would work more of her glutes. So there's their warm-up set. Okay, so this is the second set. Put some weight on now. Have one of these things to protect your back, your spine. Okay, and do these squats, keeping the back flat and arched. And you might wonder why I'm only doing 95 pounds, maybe bench pressing like 2 something. It's because one leg is slightly longer than the other leg. But I still do squats because it helps you overall, helps your heart, helps your lungs, all that stuff. I only did 10 reps because I want to save some for the next set. Basically, I'm going to go up in weight and then drop back down in weight. So here is Susie's second set of leg press. Now, her first set, she warmed up with this weight right here, but she's been working all day. She's a little bit tired, so she's just going to stick with this weight. And there's nothing wrong with that. Really, it's whatever keeps you moving at the gym. So if I'm having a rough day and don't really feel like moving, I just do lighter weight. You know, if I have to, I'll do such light weight that it'll feel ridiculous. But just so I'm moving, just so I'm putting my time in at the gym is what counts. Notice how she doesn't lock her knees. That's very good. You do not want to lock your knees at the top of this exercise. Good job. Okay, so this is my third set, and I threw on another 60 pounds. So that's because I'm feeling a little bit frisky today. Today's a good day for me. Usually it would be Susie who throws on more weight. So, yeah. Now on that third set, I had 2 options. I could sacrifice my range of motion to get more reps, or I could keep my range of motion going all the way down with less reps. Range of motion is always better as a foundation. Once you've been at the gym for 6 months, then you could work on partial reps. But in the beginning, you want to make sure that you get full range of motion. Otherwise, later it will kick you in the arse. Okay, so for Susie's third set, we're going to talk about something else while she's doing this. See, right here on the bottom of the leg press is an adjuster to where she could go flat, she could stay up, whatever she wants. Now, she could be working out while I'm explaining this. So, the lower you have it, okay, the more it's going to hit your butt. The higher you have it, the more it's going to hit your legs, particularly the muscles right above the knee. Okay, your quadriceps. So, now Susie has undergone a gastric bypass. So, if you've undergone one, use this as inspiration. There's no reason not to work out. If you do get a gastric bypass, it doesn't work. You might as well just start working out and eating right from the beginning. And if there's any companies out there that doesn't like me pointing that out, I'll accept a check for about $5,000 to not say it. Fourth set. Okay, so Susie's taking the opposite approach. You might have referred to this thing as pyramids, but for her last set, she's going to do a warm down, okay? Which means that she, instead of adding 20 pounds, drop 20 pounds. Now, when I say 20 pounds, you don't have to copy us. It's more about a percentage of weight. You want to drop down and increase by a certain percentage, not necessarily a fixed weight.
Always make sure you're comfortable. Because if you're not comfortable,
yeah.
it will hurt your back.
Susie said make sure you're comfortable, because if you're not, it will hurt your back. It's going to be straight-legged deadlifts. Now, the reason I do these heavy exercises first is because if you do the heavy exercises last, sometimes you'll be burnt out, or one of your stabilizer muscles will be worn out and won't be able to do the exercise as well. Now, a couple weeks ago, I actually hurt myself doing a straight-legged deadlift. I've been doing them forever, but I had just my mind wasn't in the right place, and it only takes a couple of seconds. So in order to repair that damage, I'm going to start all over, super light, 45 pounds, focused on form. The way I keep my form solid is I just think the entire time, arch back, arch back, arch your back. Because as long as your back is arched, as long as you fight to keep your back arched, you should be fine. If it's too hard to arch your back, then the weight is probably too heavy. Light and right is better than strong and wrong. Get me from the side, so you can see how I arch my back. Keep it flat. Thrust forward, leg straight.
And just remember to keep that arse out.
Yeah, good point. And not only that, but we also have to remember to stretch. The stretching is not something I've done in this video so far, but I do stretch. But I'm not going to bore the audience with a bunch of stretches. Just know to stretch in between your sets and stuff like that for a breather. So I will be stretching, but the stretching will be edited out of this video. thing you want to do is just, pick it up and put it on the floor. Just get it on the ground first, and then we'll worry about how we're gonna position ourselves. So, for the more inexperienced lifters, now so far, whenever Susie does this, I spot her and make sure she does this perfectly, because this is a very dangerous exercise to get wrong. All right, so first you make sure that your hands are even. Your hands even on that bar. Yep, one hand over, one hand under helps the grip a little bit. Get that, there, that's good enough. And make sure your back is flat. Stick out your butt a little bit. And keep that back strong and flat and lift up. One, that back flat, flat back, do not. Straight up and down. There's a little curve in the back there. You definitely got to eliminate that. Yeah, your back was curved just a little bit. I'm going to show you in the video, and then maybe the next set we could fix it. Okay, so I threw another 50 pounds on, double the weight, because my back is feeling good. I'm going to pay extra attention on my form. Now, before I hurt myself, I was doing like 245, 255. Now I'm only doing 95. Okay, because I want to be super safe. It's not all about showing off all the time. Now that actually felt lighter because the fast twitch muscle fibers kicked in. And when those different muscle fibers kicked in, it's like switching gears. You have one type of muscle fiber that, revs up the gears, and then when it shifts into your other type of muscle fibers, it gets easy again. That's why sometimes when you do heavier weight, it seems easier than a lightweight that's like hard to control, because there's different muscle fibers involved. Okay, same thing on this. Make sure we get our hands even. Now, since the first set, the back was a little bit curved, I want you to grab a little bit wider this time than you did last time.
Alright.
Make sure your feet are shoulder width apart too. There you go.
Like this?
Yeah, a little bit wider stance, a little bit wider grip.
So,
one hand one way, the other hand the other way. You keep that the same. This hand here is come out a little bit more, because make sure they're even on both sides. There you go. Now, when you go up and when you go back down, you don't have to go all the way down. Just enough to keep your back flat. So bend your knees really slightly, ever so slightly, just enough to get your back flat.
Right there?
Yeah, and flat, straighten up that back like a board, like there's a wooden board taped to your back, and lift up. There you go. Don't go down so far. Only go down to your knees and up. Keep those legs straight. Straight legs. Good job. You're gonna decrease the range of motion there just to be safe. Now I put another 40 pounds, and this time I have a weight belt on. I just want to show everybody, to do it with the weight belt. Now this time, Susie's wearing the weight belt because she's tired, and first thing that goes when you're tired is your form. First thing that slips up is usually form. Alright, so make sure that grip is right again. And make sure your feet are lined up properly with the bar as well. I'll go for a little wider grip, whatever's comfortable. Yeah, there we go. and keep that back flat. Use that weight belt, the feeling of where the weight belt's grabbing, to help you keep that back flat. You want to make sure, the weight belt is tight. By the way, this works out the back of the legs. The back of the legs are really hard to hit. So that's why, even though I hurt myself on this exercise, I don't want to get rid of it, because there's really nothing that works the back of the legs like this. And it gives them a good stretch too. Susie actually likes this exercise on a good day. It's one of her favorites. These are called donkey calf raises. If you're self-conscious about what you look like in the gym, you're not going to do these. But these are the most effective for your calves. Your calves are like one of the hardest things to build. So I do them 3 ways. First, I do them with my toes out, then I do it with my toes forward, and I do it with my toes inwards, all in one set. 5 sets of them. So you have to have one of these things, a stepping thing, and something to rest your head on. Lean over. Susie does not like donkey calf raises, and there's a calf machine, but it hurts her shoulders. So here's another way to do calf raises. This is actually on a chest press machine, but it has a thing on the bottom to help you get started. And she's just going to exercise her calves on that. And she could just adjust the weight. You see it right now, she has like 30 pounds, I think. And those will help the calves. Now, of course, these aren't as good as donkey calf raises, but they're better than seated calf raises. Seated calf raises actually work a different part. Okay, this is set number 2. And I'm putting all my sets in here because I'm trying to give people something real. You could just fast forward to the next exercise if you want. You could bookmark this video and just so you can skip to the next exercise.
And if you don't have balance, you want to do the machine press like I do.
Susie wants to try this. This is going to be fun. Never did this before. Get your head on there first. Get your head on top of there first. You gotta lean your head on top of the seat, and fold your arms. Put your forearms on the seat. There you go. And so your upper body, the weight of your upper body is hanging on that seat. Now step up very carefully. I don't want to fall. Just be very conscious. There you go. Have most of your foot on there at first. I know I only use my toes, but for balance, just keep most of your foot on there. And now go for it. Go for the calf raises. You want to try to keep the weight of your upper body on that seat. It makes it harder. That's the whole point, is to actually make the exercise a lot harder. It's a lot harder than doing it standing up. Do you feel anything?
Yes.
What does it feel like?
Burning sensation in the back of your legs.
Yeah, but from the video, there's not too much motion, but it does the job. You just try it. Okay, so once you're used to doing your body weight on these calf raises, you can take a weight, hook it to a chain like that, and bring it. Hopefully your gym has a little bit more convenient thing for this. So hang the weight on. I'm gonna probably edit that one part out, but the weight fell off. Like I said, hopefully your gym has better thing. But you get a chain and hook on the weight, or you have a partner hold a weight to your back to increase the weight of this exercise. I wasn't ready for that weight anyway. Once you could do 20 reps, each direction, 20 reps. All right, so I'm not ready for that weight anyway. One of the things you could do is once you hit 20 reps, then you could add weight. And when I 20 reps, I mean 20 reps toes out, then toes forward, then toes inward. And that's one set, 60 reps total. 5 sets of that, do no problem, then you could add weight. So Susie is convinced by this exercise. It burns way more than what she was doing before. So we're gonna do the one that is better. Like I said, you want to get your head and your arms resting first, and then, you know, step your whole foot on. You know, once you know you're balanced and safe and not gonna fall, you know, then you could start doing the calf raises. And you know, the better your balance is, the more you could be on your toes. But if you got to work on your balance, then safety first.
And it burns your buttocks.
And it burns your buttocks. This machine hurt Susie's shoulders, so I'm going to demo it. This is the standing calf raises. Same thing, toes 3 directions.
And for me, it does quote your shoulders.
Okay. That was stand up and do them. Okay. And this doing them slow makes it harder, by the way. Set for the people at home watching, you could also just do the standing ones. First, have your toes a little bit out, facing outwards a little bit. She's not listening. That's okay. I'll demo them.
My toes?
Too late. You wanna, well, what you could do is your toes are facing forward. So the next set, face them inward. That's right. Do about, 8 to 10. Slowly, work our way up. And then face your toes outward now. There you go.
This one's a little bit. I feel like a big one. Hello.
See, to me, the inner ones are awkward. Those are easier. Now, here we're going to find our starting weight on leg curls. And the way we do that is to go lighter than you think. So when I was going to the gym consistently, I was doing 110. So I'm going to be conservative here and go for 90 pounds. Yeah, one thing with these, you want to make sure the seat is adjusted to be as comfortable as possible. Which right now it's not. Okay, now I do. The goal is 16 reps. If you can get 16, then it's too light. So I'm going to aim for 16. Okay, so I did 13, and my legs are feeling really tight. Now, if my life depended on it, I could have squeezed out 16. But I need to save reps for the next couple sets. So 90 pounds is what I'm going to stick at. I just happened to get lucky and nail my starting weight. Okay? Now Susie's gonna find hers. Now, how do you figure out what your starting weight's gonna be? Your first set, how do you decide how much weight you're going to do?
How much weight that is you think you can handle?
Yeah, we'll say, you know, the first time you ever did this, you know, how did you think about it?
I didn't. I just like 30 and try 31 times, then do 45 the other time until you find your starting point.
Yeah, it's not really rocket science. See, the rocket science comes in when you got meatheads who just want to show off for their buddies, like, look how much weight I could lift. And
60 is a little,
well, the thing is, if you could get 16 of them, you're good. Then you could move up. But if you can't get 16, or if 16 is going to kill you, well, then you need to stick with that. Now, how do we know if the weight is too heavy? Well, if you could only do like 6 of them or something like that, 6 or less, then the weight's too heavy.
usually do 15.
How many did you get?
16.
Good job. See, that means, because she got 16, she's going to have to go up to 75 the next set. Now, my starting weight is 90 pounds. What does that mean? Does that mean I have to stick with 90? Well, if I'm getting 13 reps, okay, as long as I could get at least 6, I'm okay. So I'm going to push it to 105 and see how I do on that. I got 8, and on that last rep, I screamed, which means it's sort of like 105 is like perfect for me. So my high rep starting weight is 90, my low rep is 105. See, so starting weight, there's a window there. There's a spectrum of like, are you trying to get stronger? Are you trying to get toned? What are you trying to do? Your starting weight's going to vary for each thing. So that's something to remember. Write in the comments section, what are you trying to achieve? Susie got 16 reps with 60 pounds, which means that's way too light for her. So she's going to bump it up to 75. Now, knowing her, she'll probably get 12 to 15. Let's see.
No, my legs hurt today. And I can feel them.
See, the thing with the gym, it's all about prioritizing long-term goals over short-term goals. It's about, you know, the no pain, no gain mentality. Though safety first, too. There's a good type of pain and a bad type of pain, which you will learn by experience. Typically, if something hurts the same day you're working it out, that's a bad sign. But if it's sore the day after, that's okay. That's a good sign. And don't forget to breathe. How many did you get?
16, but
16. She's an animal. For my third set, I'm actually going to go back down to 90. Because for this specific exercise, I use more for toning. For, you know, the strength building, that's more like the deadlifts and stuff like that. I suggest to Susie to keep it at 75 pounds because that 16, she like forced that out. And we already said it's not about forcing it out. Save some reps for the next one. So her goal here, as long as she shoots between 12 and 15, that's fine. Yeah, and different fitness instructors will say different things. Some will say save a couple reps. Others will say, well, it's on the last 2 to 3 reps. That's where you really got to push yourself. That's where you get the results. Well, I've done it both ways, and I've gotten results both ways. If you want to stick with it long term, save some for the next exercise. If you're in a rush, well, yeah, be careful you don't get injured.
Okay.
Beautiful.
That's what I can do. My legs are kind of hurting and tired.
Okay. These are called good mornings. These are for your lower back and the back of your legs, sort of like straight-legged deadlifts. You want to be very careful with these. Start with the bar down and come up. Keep your back arched and flat the entire time, okay?
Yeah, you only want to do 3 sets of these. Just like the straight deadlifts.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I want to do the same weight I was doing right away like a nut. I tried telling her, no, this is like a lightweight exercise. So face the mirror so you can see yourself. And all right, now you get your feet sort of wide apart, shoulder width at least, and make sure your back is flat and arched the whole time. And when you bend down, look straight ahead at yourself in the mirror. So good. Her back is perfect, and she's looking straight ahead, doing her best. Butt's coming out a little bit. That's perfect. She's actually doing them perfectly. Now that bar she's using only weighs a few pounds, but this exercise, it's crucial that you get your form right, because if you do not have your form right on this exercise, you could really hurt yourself. That's why leg day is not one of my favorites, because there's just so many exercises that are awkward. Just got done telling Susie this. If you're looking to lose weight, your diet and nutrition are crucial. Could you lose weight eating whatever you want? Yeah, but in order to do that, you have to work out 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, and really go insane with it. Then you could eat whatever you want. I've done it before. But if you're a normal person and just have like an hour a day you can spend at the gym, nutrition is key. Here's Susie's second set. And we forgot to mention too, on the straight leg deadlifts, you only want to do 3 sets, not 5. Same thing with this. 3 sets, not 5. 3 is plenty. She's going really fast. Both of us are going way lighter than what we can on this, because we're focusing on form and demoing it right. Light and right is better than strong and wrong. I'm going to do one last set on this, and then for the last exercise, I'm just going to demo it by myself. Susie is awesome. by the way, as far as getting the weight off the rack and putting it back, I'm sort of being a little bit acrobatic with it. You want to be very careful when you're doing it. I've just been doing it so long that my muscles just kick in. Here's Susie's last set. She's like, thank God it's over. Okay. And you want to get that on top of your shoulders more. Top of your shoulders. Because, you know, pretend if that bar weighed like 50 pounds, you know, how would you be holding it, you know? So. And her form is perfect. See, that is how her flat back looks. And that's the same flat back that you want on squats, on deadlifts, on everything. Normally I do this exercise in the beginning, but sort of forgot about it. These are lunges, and there's a bunch of different ways to do them. I'm only going to do one set, because this is just episode 1. If you want to follow our fitness journey, please subscribe and click the little bell for notifications. So here's the simplest way to do lunges. Lunges for me are the most difficult exercises that I hate the most, so I got to work my way into them. So I'm just going to put my hands on the hips and step backwards 1 foot at a time. That's it for today. Next exercise, next leg day, I up it by doing 5 sets of those lunges instead of just 1. So, see you next time.